Hello and welcome to augmentation video, where I'm going to actually just take a front-end project that's React and refactor its functionality out into a server and make that front end do calls to the API to get back the data what it would normally do locally, just to kind of decentralize the idea of it. The app is going to be a React calculator that was hashed together quite some time ago, and I haven't really touched it since. So I'm going to clone the repo down, make a new folder, and just make a quick Express API thing with the functionality that will do the mathematics based on the front end sending the calls when you click the buttons and stuff on the UI. This is just something to do as showing refactoring as, like, I suppose, really. Something you'll probably more likely than not end up doing in your career will be you'll get an application and your company will sort of like, okay, you need to refactor this to do X, Y, Z. So this is kind of refactoring a front-end project to be a front-end, back-end project. Sort of like taking the functionality and augmenting it into that. This is all on the fly and sort of a live code, if you like. So it's going to be interesting, to say the least, I suppose, for me. I haven't touched JavaScript properly in a while, so it's going to be a bit of fun. No doubt we'll get there, though. Let's share my screen, and then we'll kind of move forward and see how we get. Let's move that out of the way and go down there. Move that out of the way. Here's the project. It's React UI Components. It's one of the ones that you've probably done or done a similar one. It might have been called React Calculator when you did it. It's from an old Lambda School repo. This is my sort of basic solution to it when I was playing about with it and stuff, where you do the social card and the calculator. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clone the repo. Just move that over there. So I've just got this set up ready. So git clone and pop it here. Now again, this is not just the calculator repo. There's some other bits there, so I'll get rid of those as we go and just clean it up a bit. So we've got this React UI components. Let's take a look. The first thing you want to do in your general idea of refactoring and kind of thinking about the thing is probably look at the code and see what perhaps you could refactor. But yeah, so day one social card, that can go. RM attach RF A1 social card. Let's see that should remove the whole thing because we don't need that. That's irrelevant. Social card component RMSC. That's not needed for what we want to do. I'm just stripping out any unneeded bits. We've got day 2 calculator. That's where we're probably going to be doing stuff. But what I'll do is I'll mkdir. Well, actually, I'm going to plan out a little bit first. Let's say that we're going to say, yeah, I'm going to make a directory called calc server. CD into it. Now, let's just make a readme.md for this. Let's take a look at our folder here. Oh, let's actually open the folder. So I'm going to open the React UI components one. cd.r. That should be all that we kind of need because we've got a server and client thing there. Let's do code dot and just literally open up another instance of Visual Studio Code, and I can close this one off. Again, this isn't extremely planned out. It's just a case of I felt like doing a refactor whilst I'm sort of having my let's look, let's close that off. So we've got our sort of thing here, our calc server with a README. What I want to think about is how am I going to approach the whole server thing? I'm literally just going to make a quick Express application, I think. So let's say calculate a server for React Calc front end. And what we'll do is we'll say I'll just say this will be an Express server using cause. Yeah, we'll use cause because we're going to get cause problems definitely, aren't we? To decentralize the React Calc app. Just for now, that'll do as I think. Let's think of endpoints. What endpoints are we going to want? Let's think of maybe we're going to want. Yeah, they're all going to be post, I think. Yeah, we'll do post endpoints really. We'll use Axios. Can use fetch. So we'll use Axios on the app. We'll probably just use Express stuff. So endpoints. Let's say we want to do a get of /API /plus for plus. I'm going to do that way to do this. It's backticks, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. So we've got this endpoint. Let's see. We'll probably want. Do that. Right. So let's say that we want to expect input. Let's write this out a bit nicer. Let's expect input to have the JSON sort of feel to it. So we want the input to have maybe a operand. So we'll that operand A of a number, some number. Let's just give an example, 56 for instance. And then operand B could be like 10. An example output would be another JSON with, for instance, I'll say data. And then whatever the output of that would be is 66, isn't it? Something like that. So this is what we want for the overall input and output. We will be kind of thinking about, yeah, because it's a request to the plus, that's fine. So now that I've done that endpoint, let's do a get on the minus and so on and so forth. It's going to follow the same sort of feel to it. Minus, let's say. If it was 56 and 10, then the end result will be 46. This is how we're expecting the data to kind of go out and in and stuff. We'll say multiply. 56 multiplied 10 would be 560. I don't know whether I want to, yeah, we'll do that, that's fine. Don't know whether I want to do floating point or not. I might do. We'll figure something out for that, I don't know. I'll just do it as an integer calculator to start off with and then give it things, it'll cut off this stuff anyway and do stuff around it. Let's have a look. So it won't be the most accurate calculator for what I'm doing. Let's paste that in. We want divide divided by 2, and we'll say 20 divided by 2, and then the data output will be 10. Okay, let's close that. Do I actually have a preview? Yeah, open preview. Let's look at this, see if I've actually done the correct. Yeah, that's okay. That's what I wanted to happen. It's just, it's been a while since I've actually done code snippets in there. So yeah, we've got get endpoint with the input. I need to make a new line for the input. Down. Weird. Not doing that. Should do, shouldn't it? There we go. Let's save that. Check the preview. That should hopefully have it on new lines. There we go. So we've got the input there, and the output, and then the input and the output, and so on and so forth. So that should do. Oh, we don't want to do get request, do we? We want to do post. Ignore me, I'm being a bit special today. Because we want to be able to post the data to it, really don't want to do that. Oh, again, this is just on the fly, sort of like making up something to, as an idea of what we want to happen. This is kind of the thinking about the problem and understanding, get the idea, okay, let's plan something out as endpoints. So now that I've got this idea of the way I want the data to be and how I want it to interact with things, we know that we could then build this out now and do stuff. But let's take a look at the actual calculator itself. This one originally had a design file to work with, and I followed it okay, and then I kind of made 2 of them and stuffed about that. I'm changed that to a slash, I think, and if it, like I said, I've changed a few aspects of this to how I wanted it afterwards, just messing about and refactoring. But let's actually go and have a look at the calculator source. I did something, this, whatever you do, don't use this. I'll show you in a minute. There's something here that really should not be used. Eval. You should not be using evaluate. Very dangerous. In any production code, do not use something like this, because this will open you up for lots of world of pain, because you've got this expression here. So if you could have somebody locally manipulating state at all, means that they can run code on the React server. So that makes sense, because they're going to run evaluation. So anything they want to inject into here can be kind of evaluated. It may give an error, but it may be something that does something harmful to your machine or your server. But that's just a quick hack to get it to do this expression locally. But if we take a look at this, all it's doing is it's when we click something, it's checking whether it's a button with, well, all it's doing is checking whether the inner HTML of the thing, what we clicked, is clear, slash, plus, minus, X equals. And then checking numbers, if it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way through. And then all it's doing is it's adding it or concatenating it to the expression. So it's actually building up an expression. And the only time it's not building the expression is when it's actually pressing equals, which is then running around on it just to keep it nicely tight, do a multiply and a divide, and then that kind of keeps it within the actual overall interface. So that's kind of the inner workings of it as such. So we're going to kind of replace these inner workings with some, well, we're going to leave those as they are, but with the equals, instead of having this dot set state just doing this, we're going to replace this functionality here with some if conditionals and some Axios calls to actually speak to the API what we've thought of here. So we'll have to make it do a call to the plus if part of the expression holds a plus. So we're going to have to actually separate the expression out probably and sort that out. But first we'll make the server side in a moment, but let's actually get the calculator doing what it should do locally before we start trying to augment it and add bits to it and stuff. Otherwise we could get some interesting problems occur if it's not working. I mean, I haven't touched this code in quite some time. In fact, when was the last time I actually committed? I have no idea. There's timing for this. 72 commits. So I have a commit date. On January the 8th was the last time I actually touched this code. So it's been a while, literally almost about a year sort of thing since I touched this code. So, you know, it could have some problems. It could have some out-of-date stuff, but I don't think I really used any major league stuff. It was fairly straightforward things. But let's, out of interest, take a look at our components. It's got a button component. So we've got an action button and a number button. So if we take a look at this, we've got an action button, which just returns a button with a class of action button, has a prop of type, and on click it uses the click function that's passed through to it, utilizing the value. Has a value there. So it takes in some props of value, type, and has a click function. So, and then a number button, virtually the same, but it just has like on click function and the class name of number button and the prop type. So it may have certain aspects to deal with. Then if we look at the button CSS, we've just got like button wrapper, number button, and action button, a wide button for things that are like very wide, and a zero button because of the layout. If we take a look at the actual calculator component, I think the zero had to be kind of triple width. You know what I mean? I think a wide button also has some aspects to that, but the zero's got a slightly different to the clear and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So there's that to contend with. Sorry, one more previewing. Let's close that. Let's get rid of that for a moment. Let's get back to our button CSS. So then we've got action button, we've got zero, we've got a danger button, which is just like any of the buttons I want to say red. Thin text, that's what I use for the clear, just to make it slightly thinner, to like make it nice and clean. But yeah, and number button JS, we've already looked at. Then we've got a display component, which is like a calculator display. All it's going to do is class name display total and have a property of num, so it knows what sort of data is coming there from the expression, basically. And then we have like a CSS to make it sort of have a border box, display it flex, width 400, padding, height, font size, and then we've got like text lines to the right, like a calculator does, justifying the content of the flex end to make sure it's all on to the right. Align the items to center to keep them top and bottom center, and then have a background like black and a color of white. We can have a color of green if you like, or whatever, you know. I mean, this can be changed about the UI, but this is more about the pulling the idea of the functionality out into an API and just making it interact with that API. Now I've rabbited on about a load of stuff, and this is my process as to me thinking and how I want to access this and how I want to do things. For some reason, I've got a package lock and a yarn lock, so I'm going to go with yarn because I actually prefer working in yarn these days. I think it's possible that it was originally done in NPM, and I went and used yarn myself. So I'm going to get rid of that, so it just gets rid of a bit of warnings. There's going to be a few warnings during these things because obviously it's not perfect, but we'll work on it and get some sort of a workable solution. So now that we've got a yarn lock, we've got some stuff here. So let's get into the calculator. We've got a calc server, and no, that's not good. Day 2 calculator. Did I delete the calculator? Oh, sorry, it's called day 2 calculator. CD day 2 calculator. Calculator. There we go. Let's take a look at this. So we've got our package JSON. So we could take a look at that if we wanted to find out what packages we're actually using and stuff like that as well, I suppose. Calculator, scripts, start, it's not really using much, it's got React on. So it's literally just a base React thing with no added extras. We're probably going to add a few extras as we go, like things like Axios we're going to need. We're going to utilize Axios. So that's probably, you know what, I'll probably add that once we've tested it for the first time though, just make sure it's working. So I'm just going to do like a yarn. It should install any dependencies it might have, just to make sure it's all up, and then I'll do like a yarn start just to see it working. And then we'll have a little click and use the thing just to test it and see how it reacts in different ways and so on and so forth. Because like I said, it's been a while. I've got set here as well. I've got my advanced REST client, which is kind of like the Postman. I think you're probably used to using. I like this because it's actually just a plugin for Chrome, and it does everything I want it to do, and it's a little bit more lightweight than Postman. But that's just my personal preference. You can use whatever you like for that. So this may take a while because it's on, I think it's got a hard drive instead of a SSD sort of thing. So it's going to be a little bit sluggish for what we want. Right, so whilst that's going, shall we get an idea? See, we've actually kind of planned out our bit here. So what I'm going to do is, since we've got an empty folder, I'll make a new terminal here, and I'll start work on the back end whilst we're waiting for that to do its thing, just as a, because you know, rather than us just sitting here doing nothing, kind of. So cd calc server, server, there we go. Let's take a look. Did I leave that empty? I've actually done nothing in it about that. So let's clear that, and I'll just do a yarn in it, just to initialize some sort of a package management system up and running, ready for the Express server. Yeah, calc server, that's fine. Most of this will keep the same. I might call it server.js though for the entry point. Keep it with an MIT license as well. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else I want to change. There we go. Sorted. Like that. So now that's just created a package.json in the calc server. As you can see, just nice and empty. It's not nothing mad. We'll probably add, well, we'll add the stuff as we go, rather than just adding stuff for the sake of it. We'll be adding Express, so it's going to be an Express thing. We'll probably need cores because it's going to be a local thing. So I'll say yarn add Express cores. That should do. All right. Hopefully we can do chaining of those. It should be all right. Just doing the Express stuff, resolving the packages, fetching them, and doing its thing. Dependencies on. It's got no log file yet, but it's making one and doing its thing. Let's go and check on our front end whilst we're doing that. Still linking dependencies. It's going to take a while. Let's carry on with this. This looks like this is pretty much almost finished its thing already. Done. So that's a lot quicker. A lot less packages in that than there is in. But now if we take a look at our package.json, we can see that it's got cores and Express as dependencies. Probably make a dev dependency of NodeMon, just because why not? Whilst we're working on it, we can leave it running and mess with that and add stuff to it. And whatever. So let's do a yarn add --dev. Oh, that's lagging on the typing. I've just typed all that in. It's just sitting there at Y. Wow. Okay, there we go. It's kind of decided to carry on. We'll do NodeMon, just so that we can have that as a dev dependency and just run it as a thing from a script. Come on. Adding NodeMon, some other stuffs and dependencies. Whilst that's fetching, let's quickly now have a quick more. Wow, that's still doing the dependent. How many dependencies does this have? It's like, wow. Yeah, it's not too far off, I suppose. Now like I said, I'm doing this all real time. I haven't actually paused or anything, so I thought live code it, why not? Be something different on it. Let's see. Linking dependencies. See, that's a lot quicker. We only have a few hundred of them instead of like 19,000 up. Building fresh packages, save, done, etc., random noises. Okay. Right, so we've got that, that's working, that's fine. It hasn't given us any errors so far. There will be some issues with like some of the stuff that's around on there. Let's make a script. Let's say our script server. When we do a yarn server, we'll have it node-mon server.js for now. What's that moaning about now? Does it not like that? Why is it not like that? Expected a string. This is a string. What is wrong with you? Wow, that's a bit weird, isn't it? Let's just save it. It's probably just. Nope, it did not like that at all, did it? It's expected a string. It got a string. Why is it not liking that? Expected a string, because this isn't a string apparently. Let's have a look at what's. Sorry, me going over the top with my thing. Of course, it was expecting a string. It wasn't a string. I'm sending in a JSON object with nothing as a key. Okay, yeah. Okay, it's been a while. We'll get there. Right, so we've now got a script server. Theoretically, that should probably be enough for what we want to do. All I'm going to do first is probably just work on the actual thing. That's fine, that's fine. Let's check on that. Now that's done. So let's have a look at our front end. Yarn start and see what happens here. Like I say, first run in about a year. So this is going to be interesting to see if it fires up and all the versions are okay and it just works or not. Oh, hang on, I've got some apps running. Got a load of different apps running, so I'm gonna have to like stop off a load of apps. That's a lot of fun. No. Okay. Got some stuff using those ports. I'll just cancel them off. So let's do a yarn start again. We hopefully have killed any weird processes in the background. Oh, there we go. We should have, if I remember rightly, 2 calculator components on this page that I was just demonstrating the idea of 2 separate components of the same type still interacting in different ways with their own sort of feel to things, but that's just one of those. Calculator 1 and calculator 2. Here we go. So I just added these sort of like containers here and kept it a little bit different. It's still a little bit thinner, and we've got a thicker one. And then I added because at one point this didn't have floating point at all, but now technically it does. 2.3 plus 6 equals 8.3. 2 plus 2 equals 4. Divided by 2 equals 2. Minus 1 equals 1. Times 8 equals 8. Okay. And then we'll start with the 9s. 9 times 9 equals 81. Divided by 9 equals 9. Plus 9 equals 18. Minus 9 equals 9. And then 8 divided by 6 equals 1.3 recurring. 9 times 9 equals 9 divided by 9 equals 9 plus 9 equals 18 minus 9 equals 9. So they're independently working. They're not, let's actually zoom out a little bit just so we've got them on screen. Okay, so that's all working. We can take a look at the, when we inspect these elements, we can kind of probably just work on one of them so I can kind of look at what's going on. Let's console that. So this has got all this. Let's clear the console, clear that. 9 times 9, as it's building up, it's showing the thing, equals 9 times 9. It's not giving the end result there yet, but we'll play about with that and make that happen. I mean, this is just for debugging mostly, but that's nice. We know it's working. It's got no server running. It's just got the React app and it's just doing what it needs to do. So that being said, it's moaning about set state because I'm actually mutating the state directly. I should actually be building a new state and reading in the state. And, you know, it's more deprecated functionality. So we've got our back end here now. So shall we just make a working back end first? Let's just make a simple Express app. Let's have a look at our server. We've got no server.js here yet. So server.js, make a new file, and let's start working on it. We're basing it on our README, but first I just want to make a working Express server. So if I said something like const express equals require, equals require express. Why is that moaning? I've just added all this stuff. It's expected. Oh, const. Let's say app equals express. Yeah. I'll probably require cause, so I'm going to add that anyway. So we've got it because I'm doing a local. Just because we're doing kind of local development at the moment, just as a quick thing. Just that's not good to have in production because that will just allow any by default. So you want to kind of lock that down if you're doing production code, but this isn't necessarily production. But I want the app to use cause. Again, you can lock this down a bit more if you like. I'm just making it so it'll work locally without any messing. I could actually make a proxy and set it in there so I don't have to use two separate addresses, but I'm just going to hard code the addresses in there. I'll probably want URL encode. It might be deprecated, it's been a while. App.use express.url encode. Encoded. Encoded, it's been a while. That, and I don't know whether we need express JSON or not. It might be deprecated. Let's just use the URL encoding and we'll see if we need the express.json afterwards. Then we'll do an app.listen. Give it a port number. I might actually make a const port as well. Let's say 5,000 since 3,000 is like default for React. Let's just do this. Server running on port. Oh, hang on a minute. That needs to be a callback, doesn't it? Just do that. Okay, so that's fine. So we now got this really basic app with no particular endpoint. So I suppose we can actually make a quick get endpoint for this one. App.get. Let's just do a slash and have it return something like res. Let's do a res.json. I'm pretty sure that's built in these days, but let's just do that. Res.json. Let's say message, and just have the message saying something like internal elk server, please use /API/ operator, and let's just say the operator is whatever, or let's say slash whatever we want them to use, so plus or minus or multiply or divide. There we go, we've got our endpoints then. Hopefully that should be fine. Let's do that, clean it up a bit. Might actually just do it this way. Right, okay, so we've got our message. Theoretically, that should be telling us to go and do what we need to do. Let's save that. What else do I want? I think that should theoretically be working. Let's go and run it. Yarn server. See if it runs node 1. Yep, there we go. It's working all right. Saying that. Body pass is deprecated, undefined extended option. Okay. Is it stopping it from working, or is it just moaning? Oh, I've just realized something. I've done all that. I haven't told the console log this. I'm wondering why it's not actually doing anything. You know, it's sort of like saying it's deprecated and it's just not telling me it's running. So there we go. It's running on port 4000. Okay. See, that's fine. So node 1 seems to be working because it's just updated that fine and reran itself. So now what I want to do is a quick GET request. We can use REST client. Let's think of this. Let's clear this. So we're going to do local host port 5000 / send message internal calc server, please use API plus minus multiply divide. So let's do like it says, API plus, do a GET request and go, it didn't work. That's because it's just not there. Do a post request. It didn't work. It's just not there. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to create these endpoints. Okay. So at least we got the idea of a GET request there. That's fine. Let's do that. Let's do this. Now we'll do a post request here to API plus. Let's say, I think we wanted it to have data, didn't we? Let's look at our API plus. We want it to take in the input of this type and output data in this way. So let's just make it output some static data to start off with. So it's like data. Let's just take an actual number to output. 10. Right, so now when we post anything to this plus, we'll get a data of 10. Does that sound fair? Send. Okay, we got data of 10. Body, we can post whatever we want. Let's do body. Let's do the request as it's expecting it. So let's have a look at our README. Let's do operand A and operand B, just as some test data. And place that there. Still send it. It sent the stuff and it's returned that. Now we want to pass this lot here in some way on our actual server. So let's try and pass that. So we're expecting something like that. So we're expecting an op A and an op B. So we can extract that from the body. So if we were to do JSON, that's fine, that's returning, but we want to just, let's say const opper and A equal to, let's say the request dot body dot op A, because it's sending it as that. Now let's console.log operand A and see what that looks like. Okay, so now I'm going to do this, send it out again with the operands. Let's have a look whether operand A is undefined. Okay, it doesn't like that, so I think I might have to use that express JSON to extract the JSON from it. I am sending it as op A, right? Yeah, op A should be 56. Operand A equals to that. That should be perfectly fine. Let's actually do. What I'm going to do is not URL encode. I'm going to utilize the express JSON and see if that's the problem. Just to make sure it's working as to how I'm thinking. It might just be something weird that's going on, not what I'm expecting, but it's working, not moaning, and it's still undefined. Interesting. Hang on a minute, where am I putting? It's giving responsive JSON, but it's not console. It's console and operand A. Let's console log request first. Let's have it just console log the request and see what that is actually doing. Still doing the data 10 there, and the request is here. Body is nothing. Interesting. Why have we got a body of nothing? Hold on a minute. Okay, so am I missing? So we've got cause, we've got express, we've got it using cause. We've also got it using express URL encode, encoded even. Got it using express JSON. That's doing a post request to the API plus request and result. It's got this, maybe it can't be a const or something. It's having trouble putting it in there perhaps. Let's just let it be something and see if that's the problem. Let's try that. See what that does. Where's my do that? Oh, moved it down here. I don't know. Debugging stuff. You know, see, it's working for what I think it should be working. It's just coming up as undefined here. So, oh, hang on a minute. I've done the rec this time again. Dot body. Let's see what the body is. See if the body is undefined there. Send post. It's sending it as raw input. That's probably all it is. Let's do that. Bad request, apparently. It doesn't like. What does it not like? Let's do it again. maybe it was just the copy and paste issue or something, I don't know. See, that looks normal. Let's try send. Okay, so I think that just the way how the data was presented was an issue. I'm going to go down right to the bottom and see what's going on with this. Op A and Op B, so that's working perfectly fine. That was just me kind of hoping to copy and paste things, and it just didn't want to sort of some weird data. So now technically, if I say dot op A, that should be fine. Let's give it a go. Send. And it's now printed 54, which is the operand A. So 54 plus 10, wasn't it? Why did I click save there? That's excellent. Okay, so 54 plus 10 sent to the plus, and it knows what that is. So theoretically now we can infer that we can do some math here. So if I've got operand A, we can do the same with operand B. We don't have to separate these out. I just wanted to make it very, very clear as to what we're doing and make it easy to debug. So operand B. So now all we need to do is literally maybe make a let ANS for answer equal to operand A plus operand B. Now we have a problem here. This is now text. So what we can do here is we can do a parse int. Just to make it into an integer. Or we could do a parse int on those as we go into answer. Yeah, that's probably, yeah, I think for now, I'll leave those as text just in case I want to use them as text. And then we'll do parse int on here, because I know what's going to happen. It's going to concatenate. I could leave it there and just use that as an example of what needs to be fixed, but I know for a fact that's going to do it, and it's just going to do that. And if you pass an integer on an integer, it won't break, so it won't be a problem even if it was an integer when we're using it. But now we actually have an answer. So let's swap out this 10 for ANS and see how that works. Let's copy that. I'll save that rather. And let's give this another go. Let's max it out. It's there. Got our answer 10. Now if I send this again, it should now have 64. There we go, 64. 54 plus 10 equals 64. So we've now got a working addition calculator. Yeah. And now that we've got a working addition calculator, we can literally just go, let's now add the other endpoints. What else did we want? We wanted to post minus, multiply, and divide. So let's just add those. Simple copy and paste operation now. Copy, paste. Let's change plus to minus, minus, and change this plus here to a minus. Again, there's no sort of error checking of size and stuff and all that sort of things, but we'll be all right. Then we'll paste another one, and instead of minus, we've got multiply. And let's change that to a asterisk to multiply. And then we've got a divide. So let's do the divide. It's quite easy. We've just made a calculation server to calculate really basic, simple maths with not much sort of overhead. And do a slash for divide. Can we do it? Interesting. Can we do just do integer division and have it ignore everything else for now? What was it? Yeah, that should be all right. We'll just leave it as it is. It's divide anyway. That's fine. And we're passing ints at the moment, so that should be fine. So now we've kind of got the whole range of spectrum of things. Let's do these tests then. We've got we done a plus 56 plus 10. If we do the minus, we're expecting a 46. So all I'll do is I'll change what endpoint I'm going to, keeping the same data now. Minus send error. Not did I not save that? I guarantee I didn't save it, did I? Trying to do endpoints that don't exist. Yeah. There we go, it's running now. Let's do that again. Okay, and our output is 44 instead of 64. That's perfect. Now let's do our look at readme again. Multiply is 56 times 10 should be 560. So let's give that a go. So let's just change the endpoint to multiply. I think you guys can see where this is leading on the front end now with these if conditionals. Multiply, did I change that to multiply? Double check server if I've still got that minus or something. Plus minus multi apply. Is that an I in the word multiply? Yeah. Let's try that again. Okay, and now we've got 540, which we're expecting. 54 times 10, 540. So that's working as we're expecting it. Oh, I was supposed to say 56. I just noticed 56 times 10. And now we're going to do 20 divided by 2 to get 10. So let's just change these now. 20 divided by 2 to get 10. And that's going to be to the divide point. And send. And let's look. We've got 10. 20 divided by 2, 10. So we've now got a working calculator to an extent, an integer calculator, as an API. How cool is that? We've got like a calculation server. Obviously, this will just offset the front end stuff once we get the front end hooked up. But we know how we've got to do our requests now. So we've kind of got an idea how to do our requests and how they should output, and we've got that all made now. How cool is that? We've got a server that works. It does what we asked it to do. So now that we've got a server working, we can work on our front-end application. Let's get back to our front-end application. That's running, so let's start work on it. I'm going to close the server. We know what it needs to do and we know what it's doing. Now let's work on the actual calculator itself. Let's have a look. Let's just work in the app.js, I believe, where all the functionality is. So we want to keep everything else the same. We want it to edit the expression as it's working. So all we want to change really here is this part here. We'll leave this for the moment. In fact, let's get rid of that for a second. And now the equals, what we want to do is let's test just doing, let's say we do the plus as a tester first. It's our first tryout. So I just want to do like an Axios call. So let's say, hang on a minute, I'm saying I need to do an Axios call. I've actually even installed Axios. No. So first thing I actually want to do is install Axios now. So I'll just make a new, so I'm sure I can do this while running. CD day on calculator, CD calculator. So that's the actual, oops. So that's the actual calculator thing. So now if I do a yarn add Axios, that should work for that. Shouldn't be an issue. So ideally now I'm going to install Axios so that we can do that, and I'll do a require on here for Axios as well. So, well, an import, sorry, import Axios from Axios. Oh, my convention in this has been these, so I'll carry on with that. Ideally keep to one or the other, either double quotes or single quotes. Again, it's probably moaning because it doesn't exist or it's not used. It's declared but never used, that's fine, because I'll just be using it now. So we've got that, and it's installing. Should be installed by the time I finish making this actual call. So axios dot post. We're going to do, don't we? Post request. And we'll do it, and we'll just hard code this for now. http://localhost 5000 /API/plus. And then we're going to get a callback or some data. So we're going to get some data now, aren't we? So let's just make what was it? It was op A and op B that we're sending in. So let's just actually do that. Op A, say 10, just so we've got some sort of call of basic stuff when we press equals. Op B of 10. So when we do this, we're going to add 10 and 10 together as a tester, just to see if it works. Then we'll take the response and see what console log it out, I suppose. So do a dot then response, and then we'll do a console log data, and it's containing something called data inside data. I think it'll be, won't it, to deal with that. It's a bit of a weird one, but okay. I could call it answer or something instead of data, but response data for now. And we'll make sure that that's doing what I'm expecting it to do. So let's take a look at our calculator and make sure it's not crashed. It seems to be okay. It's booting itself up, it's working. Let's put in some random stuff. It's moaning about the set state at the moment. We'll faff about with that at some point. Add 3 equals, and it's not doing the setting of state here, but notice we've got 20 console log. That doesn't matter what we've got here. It's just going to do 20 console log because it's doing the call, returning that, and logging the data, which is awesome. So we know that that works. So now all we need to do is extract from the, we need to make some sort of extraction of some sort here. So what we can do is we can take our expression. So let's take the expression. Let's say, was it this dot state dot expression? And let's just console log that really then instead. Let's say we'll constant log this dot state dot expression and see what that looks like. I just want to find out what the look of it. It should just have like the expression as text, hopefully. And if it does, then we can do a few interesting things with that. So let's do 5 plus 3 equals. It's not console logging the expression. Why is it not console logging? Does it not like the expression? What's that? It's not set the expression, has it? Why is it? In fact, let's console log the expression before it does the axios call, because I still want to find out what the expression is. So hang on a minute. It's console logging the expression, which is 6. Seriously. Console log hello, and then the expression, just so that we've got the expression, because that was rather annoying because it didn't look like it was doing it, but I think part of the general workflow is doing the expression anyway. 9 plus 3 equals hello, 9 plus 3. There we go. So it is doing that. It's got the expression, and the expression is 9 plus 3. Probably in text. So if I were to do something else here, let's extract this before we do our axios call. Or we can do it only then. No, we'll extract at the start. So as soon as it does it, we'll extract it and try to get hold of some data out of that. So const exp equals this dot state dot expression. So I just don't want to do the console log. I'll just grab the expression. So now that we've grabbed this is a piece of text, isn't it? So what we could do is we could turn it into an array by splitting it on space so that we get the whole lot instead of each individual thing. Because if we don't do via space, well, I'll show you what happens if we don't do a space here. And then we'll just console.log exp and take a look at what we get. We should still get an array, but if we watch, if I say 1 plus 3 equals, and then we get a 1, a space, a plus, a space, and a 3. So if we separate on space, it will ignore those spaces to an extent. But if we said we got 4, 5, 6 plus 3, 6, 9 and do this, we still get these 4, 5, 6 space plus space 3, 6, 9. So if we separate on space, it means we won't get this separation here with the non-spaces. So we'll get the 4, 5, 6 as one item, the plus as one item, as the 3, 6, 9 as one item, which is kind of what we wanted. We're going to actually separate this into an actual sum as such. So if we do that, save that, wait for that to do its thing. And now if I do 789 plus 369, it should have 789 comma plus comma 369 in the actual array, and which it does, 789 comma plus. So it's now got 3 entities. Whatever we do, it's always going to have those 3 entities, yeah, if we do it as a thing like that. So we're just going to do the case for that. So now operand A is actually going to be exp of 0, isn't it? So we said exp 0 for a start off, yeah, and then operand B is going to be of 2, not of 1, because the actual operator is going to be exp of 2. So exp, sorry, of 2, not 1, of 2, because the operator is going to be exp of 1. So to the left of the sign and to the right of the sign, we want to grab these items. So now we can do that, and we can just, let's just print the, what else are we going to do? Let's do, right, well, literally we're sending those through, aren't we? And we'll take the response. Let's log the response. Well, what was it? Response.data.data, wasn't it? And we can find that out by just doing response.data, but let's do it this way, just as and we should theoretically get whatever the response back is. It may work, may not, but let's do this. Let's clear the console so we got no issues. 8 plus 8 equals 16. How cool is that? We've now got a response from the thing there. We could do like answer equals, and then do response data, just to specifically show that it is the response that's coming through and it's not some weird local thing. So if I do 8 plus 8 equals answer 16. Okay. We could go one further and print off some other stuff when it actually works. But for now, we know this is working, yeah? Or for the plus it is. Yeah. So it doesn't matter what we do, we can do multiple. Let's do 8 times 8 equals, and it won't give us an answer, but it'll say the answer to 8 times 8 is 16. But obviously it's not. So we've still got a few issues here. So what we probably want to do is we probably want to also set the state. Do you know what I mean? The data is probably going to be text, so this might not be a good one to set state. So we're going to want to take the data and actually possibly pass it into, I don't know, we'll have a look. In fact, let's just do that. Let's set the state. So then instead of having the 8 times 8, it'll have whatever it thinks the answer is. So it would have 16 there by rights. So let's actually do that. Let's, after console login, we can do this dot set state And then in the state, we're going to just do expression. And then let's say response.data.data. Save that. So now we're updating the state with that each time. Oops. So now let's clear that. And let's say 8 times 8, which should be definitely not 16, but we'll say equals, answer is 16, then it's doing that, but it's not doing this set state. Did I save that? Then response.data.data. Is it not liking the set state? This dot set state. No, theoretically should work. So it's doing this dot set state expression. Data. Hang on a minute. Expression with 3 S's. That's not going to work. Typos for the win. That's fine. Okay, so once that does it, we should. Let's do 8 times 8 equals 16. But that's not right. How about minus 6 equals 22? 16 minus 6 equals 22. Maybe not. Ever get the feeling we've got some errors on our thing? That's fine. That's because at the moment, all it's doing is adding. It just thinks whatever all of these are is added. It doesn't care. All it knows is it's taking the left-hand side one and the right-hand side one and adding them. Okay. But what we can do here is perhaps do a little if conditional. So we've got our expression here. So we've got a little thing in the exp of 1, which is going to be the actual operator that we want to use. So we could do an if conditional and just say if exp of 1 is equal to, and then let's say the plus sign, then we'll do this axios call. Does that make sense? So we'll only do that if it's the plus sign. Otherwise, it's just going to sit there and laugh at us, basically. So let's try this. Come on. Right. So let's, what the hell am I doing here? Wow, everything's flying. Flying stops. Right. So let's clear that. And let's go 8 times 8 should do nothing. But if we clear that and do 8 plus 8 equals 16. So it's only doing that axios call if we do 16. Sorry, if we tell it a plus, right? So now we can do an else if and just literally copy and paste all of this and change that to an else if now. So if it's not that, then let's try this. Else if it's a minus, let's hit the minus one. So now we should literally get the functionality of minus happening. Does that make sense? Hoping it does. Who the hell's that? No, that's no good. Let's move that out of the way. Got way too many things flying around everywhere. There we go. This needs to go over here. Right. Run out of real estate on the screen, basically. Let's clear that. So now, if we go 6 minus 3, we get an answer of 3. How cool is that? So we know that's hitting the minus thing and it's giving us a minus answer. Yeah. So let's give that a go so we can see that being the minus. 8 minus 2 equals minus answer of 6. So that's working. Okay. And again, this is just debugging there. But let's now do another else if. So that was minus. Now let's do multiply. So if it's an asterisk, we'll hit the multiply. Where are we? Multiply answer. So now we can try 9 times 9. So 9 times 9 equals 81. So multiply answer is 81. Minus 80 equals minus answer of 1. So far we've got a working plus, minus and multiply. So that just leaves us a divide. Else if, well, I'll just remember to write it in a bit. Turn that into a slash for divide, I believe, yeah. And instead of a plus, we want to add divide. And we'll have that as our divide answer. Save that. And we should actually manage to get our overall thing. Let's clear everything. 9 times 9 equals multiply answer of 81. Divided by 9 equals divide answer of 9 plus 9 equals answer of 18, which minus 9 equals minus answer of 9. All I want to do is on my plus for debugging, just to make sure I'm doing what I want to do. Plus answer. Right, so now we've actually got a working thing. I mean, obviously there's a few flaws here. Let's try it out because I'm pretty sure it shouldn't theoretically work correctly for some things. Let's do 9.1 plus 9.2. 18. So yeah, that's just an integer. It's no floating points. Yeah, does that make sense? We could possibly, instead of passing ints, maybe we could pass float and see if that works. Give it a go. I mean, it'll probably always return the float instead of the integer though. So we can do the multiply by so and so and divide by so and so as well afterwards if we wanted to, but yeah, let's have a look. I think I might do the math round at some point as well. But for now, we know we've got a working extrapolated sort of way of doing things. So we now got a client server version of the calculator. And obviously we've just been doing it on this one, but obviously we've got two separate things. So if we use 8 times 8, 64, that works. Divided by 9, 2. So we're actually getting a nice sort of, we could do like 9 times 9 equals that, minus 6 equals that. So we can just blast a load of different things in and it seems to be working fine. So this same server, we should theoretically be able to then utilize multiple clients attaching to that server. I'm not going to actually simulate that, but technically we've got 2 clients, but they're all on the one React app. We could run this React app and do a different thingy. So theoretically, if I open another bash, let's just, for the hell of it, run 2 clients. Yeah. So let's have a look. So cd day2 calculator, cd calculator, and now yarn start. Let's see how we get. Should mind it's already running on port 3000. We want to run a different port, hopefully. Or do we want to just bomb out? Yeah, let's use another port. Why not? So theoretically, we've got our 2 actual server clients running in the moment. Once it starts up, hopefully it should be fine. Come on then. I said yes. It's taking its time. Not tried this, by the way, before, so I'd be interested to see. It might just be that it's the same data and it's trying to do, or it might just work. I don't know. It's quite interestingly sitting there, not doing much. No. No, I'm not even going to try that for now, but there's no reason why off 2 computers, if you had the ports available and not firewalled, you should be able to go, instead of localhost, run one that's not localhost and send it to the IP address of the actual server and stuff like that. But or if we had it host on Heroku or something as an Express, basic Express server, it should theoretically work as well. But I'm going to Control-C that because it seems like it's just not really doing anything. So we've got that, we've got that. That's fine. Like I say, we've got a few errors, but it seems to work. I'd say that's kind of refactored as a first pass solution. Right? I'll get rid of the, well, actually, no, I'm going to leave that as it is for now. But all right, I think we've taken enough time up. It's like, what, it's been like an hour and a half or something, Matt, to do this. There's been a lot of talking involved and procrastination and stuff, but I think we've got there. It's a bit of a live coding of some sort of refactoring. I mean, I'm pleased with the outcome so far. It can only do the non-floating point, but I mean, I added the floating point as extra anyway before in the UI. So, I mean, you could add a few more aspects to this and a few more if conditionals to do that. I'll maybe do that at a later time. Let's stop sharing screen for now. So that's about it, guys. I'll see you